In Pennsylvania, the trucking industry is fighting some very strict emission standards that are ultimately being set by CARB. If you don't know about CARB, it stands for the California Air Resources Board. It started because of the 1970 Federal Clean Air Act, which gave California the unique power to design its own vehicle emission standards to deal with the smog issues around Los Angeles. Basically, CARB was created to manage the emissions rules and regulations. With that said, all states, except for California of course, have two options when it comes to emission standards. They can either adopt California's stricter rules or they can use the federal rules. As for Pennsylvania, in a regulation from nearly 20 years ago, the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protections adopted CARB's emission standards for diesel-powered vehicles weighing over 14,000 pounds. As a result, anytime CARB revises its rules, Pennsylvania's heavy-duty diesel emissions control program automatically updates to adopt the California rules. If you have questions or concerns at any time on how these emission standards will affect you, you can contact us at info@cnsprotects.com or just fill out the form below. Now, there's a lot of controversy around Pennsylvania's rolling absorption of California's emission standards, so much that the PMTA, along with 4 of its members, are suing the government to stop it. Rebecca Euler, the president of the Pennsylvania Motor Truck Association, said,
"And why a state would turn over its own legislative and regulatory authority to another state just doesn't make much sense to me."
Rebecca did have a lot more to say on this subject on our podcast, Caution Wide Right. To hear what she had to say, just click on the link above. So what's going on with CARB now that is causing havoc, and how is it affecting the Pennsylvania trucking industry? Well, in August 2022, CARB adopted a 2020 executive order from California Governor Gavin Newsom, which was focused on a goal of 0 emissions by 2035. To achieve this, it was proposed that they rely heavily on the different types of electric vehicle technology that meet the air quality and climate change emission standards. In addition, there would be more stringent standards for gasoline vehicles and heavier passenger trucks, or diesel vehicles. With the recent changes to the California Code, more stringent emission standards were put in place for model years 2024 to 2031. And for Pennsylvania, this would mean that the advanced regulation would require every truck sold in Pennsylvania to be 0 emissions by 2045. For now, the Pennsylvania DEP has suspended these new standards and extended warranty changes, but they do plan to start enforcing them with vehicles and engines for model year 2027. So how will this hurt the PA trucking industry? Well, PA truckers are placed at a competitive disadvantage with competitors in other states who do not have to abide by California's regulatory standards. Basically, it will cost more for them to buy California-compliant trucks with extended warranties. Trucking companies that are replacing 5, 10, or even 20 trucks every year would have to pay a huge chunk of extra money for warranties that they may not want or need. If you have any questions or concerns about where you stand with your trucks and staying compliant with emission standards, just fill out the form below or give CNS a call at 888-260-9448 and one of our DOT compliance specialists will help you out.